The person you were when you started this sentence no longer exists. We spend our entire lives clinging to the idea of a self, a solid, unchanging me that travels through time like a passenger in a car. But this me is the most successful illusion ever staged. We are not a static entity encountering a static world. We are a shifting storm of perceptions meeting an ever-changing environment. We are not nouns. We are verbs. We are not beings. We are becomings. If you've ever looked at a photograph of yourself from 10 years ago and felt a strange, haunting sense of distance, as if you were looking at a complete stranger, you have touched the truth of this flux. Maybe you've noticed how a room you once loved now feels cold, or how a person you once couldn't live without now feels like a distant ghost. You probably think that you are the one observing these changes from a stable center, but the center itself is moving. You are a different you every time you blink. By the end of this journey, you will understand that the Japanese concept of Ichigo Ichie, the realization that this exact moment will never happen again, is the only sane way to live. In the next few minutes, we are going to deconstruct the myth of the self and see how we are actually just a bundle of unique perceptions interacting with an environment that is also a bundle of perceptions. You will see why no two encounters are ever the same, and how embracing this constant change is the secret to true intimacy, deeper work, and a profound sense of peace in a chaotic world. In the East, particularly in the traditions of Japan and China, there is a deep reverence for the qi, the vital energy that flows through all things. This isn't just a mystical energy, it is a recognition of the now as a unique, non-repeatable event. Every moment is a distinct ripple in the ocean of existence. Once that ripple passes, it is gone forever. This is the heart of Ichigo Ichie. It means one time, one meeting. It suggests that even if you meet the same friend in the same coffee shop every Tuesday, the meeting is never the same. The light is different, your mood has shifted, the cells in your bodies have turned over, and the world has moved. We struggle with this because we are addicted to the illusion of the self. We like to think of ourselves as a thing, a collection of traits, a name, a history. But modern psychology and ancient philosophy agree. If you look for the self, you won't find it. You are a bundle of perceptions. You are the taste of your morning coffee, the pressure of the chair against your back, the flicker of a memory, and the anxiety about a deadline. When these perceptions change, and they are always changing, the self changes. There is no I behind the perceptions. There is only the perceiving. We are a process, not a product. Imagine a man named Kenji performing a traditional tea ceremony in Kyoto. He has done this 10,000 times. He knows every movement, every sound, every temperature. But Kenji knows that this bowl of tea, shared with this specific guest, under this specific afternoon sky, is a universe unto itself. He doesn't perform for the memory of the past or the promise of the future. He performs for the key of the now. If Kenji clung to the idea of being a master, he would miss the tea. By letting go of the I, he becomes the ceremony. He understands that the environment is not a backdrop. It is a participant that is also constantly shifting its perceptions. This realization is the ultimate cure for the boredom of modern life. We get bored because we think we've seen it all before. We look at our partner and think we know who they are. We look at our job and think we know what it is. But that is the illusion talking. If you look closely, your partner is a different bundle of perceptions today than they were yesterday. Their environment, their work stress, their hormonal balance, the news they read, has shifted them. When you realize that no two encounters are ever the same, every conversation becomes an exploration of a new territory. Curiosity is the natural byproduct of realizing that nothing is permanent. Consider the noise of social media. We scroll through feeds looking for something new, but we are actually just looking for a new reflection of our old selves. We want to be validated in our static opinions. But the digital environment is a chaotic bundle of perceptions that changes by the millisecond. When we try to fix ourself in such a fluid world, we feel a deep existential anxiety. We feel like we are drowning because we are trying to stand still in a whirlpool. Peace comes when we realize that the whirlpool is what we are. We are the flow. In our relationships, this perspective is transformative. Think of a couple who has been married for 30 years. They might fall into the trap of the I, the idea that I am a husband and you are a wife. This creates a static, dead relationship. But if they embrace the chi of each moment, they realize that they are two becomings meeting in a unique environment every single day. The we is a third bundle of perceptions that is also in flux. Conflict becomes less about who is right and more about what is happening in this unique encounter. It allows for a grace that the static self cannot afford. We often use money and ambition as a way to freeze time. We think that if we gain enough status or wealth, we will finally be safe and solid. But money is just another perception. It is a social agreement that changes value based on the environment. Ambition is the I trying to dictate terms to the future. But the future is just another environment that will be made of unique perceptions we cannot yet imagine. When we release the need for a permanent self, we find that we can move through work and money with a lighter touch. We become more adaptive, more creative, and more resilient. Generational patterns often keep us stuck in the self. We are told by our parents who we are, and we spend decades trying to live up to that static image. But your parents were also just a bundle of perceptions dealing with their own unique environments. Their truth was a snapshot of a moment that has long since passed. When you realize that you are a becoming, you are freed from the duty of being who they thought you were. You are allowed to change because change is the only thing you actually are. You are not a disappointment or a success. You are an encounter. The broken village of modern society is essentially a collection of I's who have forgotten how to share a chi. We sit in our separate houses, looking at our separate screens, clinging to our separate identities. We fear the suffocation of others because we fear they will change us, and they will. To encounter another person is to have your perception shifted. To be part of a community is to allow the environment to remold you. If you insist on being a solid I, you will always find others threatening. But if you realize you are a bundle of perceptions, then every other is just more data, more flavor, more life. As we look toward the shifting horizon of AI and global change, the illusion of the self will become even more painful to maintain. The world is moving faster, and our environments are changing more radically than ever before. The only way to survive without losing our minds is to lean into the Japanese wisdom of the unique moment. We must learn to be unproductively present. We must learn to value the encounter over the outcome. We must realize that the self we are so afraid of losing was never there to begin with. Everything in existence moves in a pendulum form, swinging from the void to the form and back again. We are currently in the form phase of civilization, where we are obsessed with labels, identities, and structures, but the pendulum is swinging back toward the realization of the void, the beautiful empty space where all perceptions arise. This is where the chi lives. Loneliness in the modern world is often just the I feeling the coldness of its own isolation. The cure is to dissolve the I into the encounter. So, as you walk away from this video, I want you to look at the next person you see as if you are meeting a new species for the first time. Don't use their name or their history to define them, just perceive them. Notice the environment around you, the temperature, the sounds, the smell of the air. Realize that this specific combination of you and this place and this time will never ever happen again. You are witnessing a miracle of non-repetition. Be nice to each other, because each of you is a fragile, shifting storm of perceptions trying to make sense of a changing world. Bond with the moment, because the moment is all there is. The I is a story we tell to feel safe, but the key is the reality that makes us feel alive. You are not a being, you are a human becoming. Embrace the flow, join the dance, and realize that you are already home, because home is wherever the perception is happening. Thank you for watching. Please comment, share, and subscribe for more.